What a year it's been in the garden this year. I'm telling you, from one plague right on to the next. Here's the update of the tomatoes. This is going to be the last one that I'm going to do that's going to officially follow the guidelines of having the egg, the sardine, the kitchen scraps, the compost, the Mikos, and then the great white on the far side. After this point in time, I'm going to do whatever it takes to try to get this or get these tomato plants to produce as much as I can. So that's probably going to mean giving them all great white. As far as the plague I was mentioning earlier, at the start of the season we had a just monster load of slugs, and they killed all of the beans that we had in the garden and the cucumbers, and we reseeded 3 times. I think the beans I reseeded a 4th, maybe even a 5th time, and I did manage to get a whole whopping, 4 or 5 bean plants, but even them, they have been getting thrashed. The strawberries have been getting just murdered by the birds. I've had very few that I've managed to pick off of there before the birds get to them, and it's a shame because they're really nice big berries. At the start of the season, they were getting attacked by some kind of bugs that were affecting the blooms, so I was getting these little runty, junky strawberries off of them, so we just ended up picking them off and just hoping that we would get some better blooms, which we have. But now the birds are getting to them. And today, when I'm checking out my tomatoes, I think these are aphids. Not 100% sure, fruit flies, whatever they are on there by the bajillions. Every plant has got them. The plants that kind of have it the most are the egg and sardine, and the other 4 on the back end, much less. The least plants that have the least infestation are the really deep planted ones that are kitchen scraps and compost, but everything else is kind of, actually they all have them, but those definitely have noticeable less quantities. Same with the Mikos and the great white. They've got more than the 2 in the middle, but they definitely are loaded up pretty good. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on with the bugs and the insects this year, but they're at an all-time high. Plants that seem to be totally unaffected are my dill and my onions, as well as the asparagus and rhubarb. Potatoes have had their share of potato bugs, but we've seem to have gotten them under control. But yeah, quite something. I don't know if this is a result of me doing the whole top composting no-till method, and this is part of the cycle of getting everything kind of set up and neutral or to ground zero. I don't know. This is new for me, and the research that's been done on this seems to be pretty minimal. I have seen benefits from no-till in the past. In my previous location, I had a no-till garden that I was just putting all the kitchen scraps and compost into, and it took till about year 7 or 8, and then all the bugs just disappeared, except for the beneficials, which I had all over the place, and the garden really flourished way better than I can get out of hydroponics. So that's kind of where this whole thing started from. It's now year number 5 that we're here, 5 years into gardening with this method. So I'm hoping in another 2 it changes. I'm trying my best not to take and grab some malathion and just murder everything that's out there, but I think the long haul will benefit. As far as bumping the irrigation up back to the tomato plants, the reason why you guys are probably here if you've clicked on the link, they have done really well with an improved irrigation frequency. They're getting water at least once a day, bare minimum. The drippers, tomato plants have 2-gallon-per-hour drippers. That's running for 10 minutes. And like I said, at least once a day. So I'm thinking they're getting probably about 500 ml of actual water is what's going to the individual plant. But it's making a difference. Lots of new growth. And I mean, you can judge by the video. As far as who I think the winner is for the experiment, I think there was definitely an advantage with planting them with the egg and sardine versus nothing. Or actually all of them had kind of their own advantage. I think they would work the best, some of these methods, when worked in tandem with something else. Deep planting, clearly the way to go, in my opinion. That's the best I don't know, those plants just look way better and they're performing much better. It is a dry year and they've been the most unfazed by what nature has thrown at us this year. Whether it be filling the hole with kitchen scraps or filling it back up with kitchen scraps or compost, I would say compost is the way to go. But I think they would have benefited from either the sardine or the egg on the bottom. To me, it looks like there's more blooms and the plants are a little more prolific with the egg than they are with the sardine. But I will say the sardine had some really astronomical growth and a lot of heavy, thick blooms. It might have just been a deficiency in the soil that didn't let them flourish to their fullest potential. Great white, as always, seems to give more nutrient availability to the plants. And just an overall, I don't know, great supplement seems to be the extreme Mikos. The plants are kind of a blend of all of the benefits, nothing crazy far ahead, but it looks like they're benefiting from everything a little bit. So whether that's the bacteria in there or just what they do to the soil, the soil cycle of life, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. You guys have seen the videos. I did take a little more time today to get the close-ups of all of them. So let me know what you think is the best performer in your opinion. And if any of you guys have tips doing the no-till method on how to combat slugs, or I think they're fruit flies, or I forget the other name that I used earlier. You'll see them in the video. If you have tips that don't involve chemicals and do keep it 100% organic, I'd like to know about it. Yes, I know I broke the rule a little bit this spring with the Miracle Grow. I know I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying, but when I see a plant that's nutrient deficient and struggling, and I know I can just, give it a quick fix, because I still do want produce out of this garden this year. Anyway, until next time, the next videos on the channel, I'm going to be taking a look at sharpening knives. So I went and picked this thing up. In the past, all I've done with these, or done with my knives, is just use them till they're dull, until the cheap sharpeners don't get them any further, and I chuck them out and I buy new knives. I think it's very wasteful. So I'm going to go through sharpening a bunch of different stuff with that. So that'll be next on the channel whenever that video is up, and I'll put it on the side.